All right, Tuesday live, Facebook, YouTube, and today we're going to talk about a warning about the worst back pain exercise. And this is important because this is an exercise people are being prescribed and it's making their back pain worse. And it's not uncommon that you can get an exercise prescription that actually makes your back pain worse, because everybody's different and everybody has special needs for their spine depending on their source of their problem and the reason for their problem. And part of what we talked about yesterday is the 6 causes or the six dysfunctions that lead to back pain. So if you haven't seen that one, take a look at that one. It was a little longer. They do tend to be a little bit longer. But this is about an exercise that people are being given that's actually making them worse. And they just think that their back pain is not going to get better because the exercises they've been given aren't making them better and are making them worse. Okay? If you're doing an activity and it's making you worse, you need to stop doing that. And then you need to create some stability before you can start becoming more active again. That's the key. Okay? So, the videos that we put together are educational, and we do them for 2 reasons. One, so you know that you can get better and that there is a way out. Okay? These are educational, and this is not a diagnosis, nor is this a treatment for you. We do what we do because it's something that happened to me. I suffered with back pain for 10 years. This is my MRI. Herniated disc, okay, stenosis, irritation of the spinal nerves. I had some sciatica. Happened and I had back pain for 10 years. Chronic back pain. And my legs were numb. I had all kinds of problems. And we found a way out. And quite frankly, I think we can eliminate back pain from the planet. Okay, we found a way out. There is a solution for back pain. You do not have to live with it. I see this all the time. I see a lot of questions and statements and information off the internet from people, and they're all sort of suffering because they're doing the wrong thing. And this is one of the exercises that you have to eliminate from your regimen. Even if you're a bodybuilder, work out in the gym every day, you need to stop doing this because you're going to have a problem. Typical spine looks like this. 24 vertebrae. In between each vertebrae there's a disc. The disc is like a jelly donut in the sense that the outside of the disc there's a thick material. I'm getting to the exercise, but I want you to understand why this exercise is bad, because when you understand why, then it makes more sense. So the outside of the disc, there's a thick material. Inside is the jelly. Jelly can move around in there. The jelly gives stability. Okay, very often through certain activities, postural, movement habits, movement patterns, muscle imbalance, tight hips, tight hamstrings, all the things we talked about yesterday, weak stomach, weak back, weak sides, whatever it happens to be, whatever your dysfunction is, what can happen is through repetitive motion, you can start to damage the disc, forcing all the load into one portion of the annulus, and that annulus will develop a little tear. Why does it tear? Okay, I'm holding a, what is this, paper clip, okay, made of metal, right? And if you keep bending in one spot, what happens? You can break the paper clip in half. Doesn't take that long, actually. So same thing happens to the disc. When you have all the load on the disc from repetitive motion, the same way I'm doing this with this paperclip, repetitive motion causes a breakdown. And then eventually one day what happens, you feel pretty good and you say, I don't know what happened. I was doing my exercises that were making me strong and something happened. I felt something in my back pop. And now I have back pain that won't go away. And I keep trying to do that exercise, or the doctor gave me the exercise and it's not making it any better. Okay? Too much flexion on the spine causes the discs to break down. The key is to eliminate that. And what happens over time is that flexion causes a tear, nucleus comes out, pushes on the nerve, causes sciatica. Back pain, hernia disc, bulging disc, sciatica, all the above. Okay? What is that exercise? Sit-ups. Sit-ups and crunchies. Okay? When you have a back problem, you need to create stability in your spine. And you create stability in the spinal stabilizers. What is that? It's the core. Your core muscles are the muscles that stabilize your spine. Sit-ups do not activate the core. They activate the rectus abdominis, but that's not a core stabilizer. It's a movement pattern muscle. Okay? The key is to create stability. What happens with the sit-up, okay, sitting this way, here's the hips, there's the spine, doing this. Boom. Boom. Okay? The U.S. military, for our servicemen, have to do a certain number of sit-ups to qualify. So what do? They train with the sit-ups. They're training doing this. And what they have found is all the sit-up training caused back pain. And they were getting too much back pain. Too much back pain in the military is not a good thing. So what they found was by doing exercises to strengthen the core without flexing the spine, is they were able to maintain their strength without doing any damage to the discs. That's the key. So some patients, their doctor said, oh, you need to do sit-ups or crunches. Not a good idea, because it overloads the disc. So what they did is they still have the test, but then they don't train for the test. They do planks and they do what's called stir the pot. Those are both abdominal strengtheners without flexion. Okay, the problem is the flexion. So when you do an exercise, you need to try to avoid the flexion. Okay, over-flexing, in some cases overextending for some people makes them worse. So you need to avoid this activity. So is it the worst one? It is absolutely the worst one, because you get slow breakdown of the disc, and it might not hurt. You're doing it, just like that paper clip. Okay, one day, you're doing it, and then what happens is pop, breaks in half. You say, I don't know what happened. I felt something pop in my back. I get this with weightlifters. I get this with deadlifters. I get this with people in the health club doing too many sit-ups. They want the six-pack abs. You can get six-pack abs without doing the sit-ups. Okay, same thing. Squats are helpful. Might be the best exercise, but if you do it wrong, you could be the worst exercise. Because same thing with the spine. When you're squatting, as you go down to the deepest part of the squat, the hole as they call it, as you go down there, what happens very often, you get your hips lower, your pelvis has to go forward like that a little bit, and then you strain the discs and you strain the joints, and you can overload the discs, especially if you're bearing a bunch of weight on the shoulders. Looks like probably 100 and, I don't know, see that says 10 kilos, no, 45 pounds. I don't know, maybe 135 pounds. Either way, loading the disc in a flex position will cause you damage. It doesn't matter if you're doing a sit-up or you're doing a squat. Okay, squats are the best ones, but don't go too low. Sit-ups are never good. Sit-ups are never good because you're going to eventually damage the disc. There's ways to do it. And what we do with our patients is we find out what they can tolerate, what their limits are, what their patterns are, and we address the issues through that. Everybody's different. Everybody has different movement patterns. Everybody has different weaknesses. Everybody has different hips. Everybody has different hip sockets. Some hips are tighter than others. Some muscles are weaker than others, depending on why and what you do with your life. Those are the things that will cause and contribute to your dysfunction. We talked about that yesterday. It's all about the dysfunction that leads to the problem of the disc. Okay, we solve problems of the disc. And you can't solve the problem of the disc if you don't address the underlying cause. Treat the cause, pain goes away. Treat the cause, the pain goes away. Sit-ups are bad for the disc. Okay. If you like this content, I want you to like the video. If you don't like this content, I want you to like the video. Okay, subscribe to our channel. Share this information. I want to transform the way we treat back pain. There is a right way and a wrong way. We've discovered over 25 years the right way to do it. If you do it the right way, pain goes away. If you do it the wrong way, you suffer the rest of your life not knowing you can be better, and you can. Or your doctor said to you, pain's in your head, you're fine. If they can't figure out what's wrong with you, you need to find another doctor. Because every back pain has a cause. pain is not in your head. I've been doing this 25 years, 26,000 patients. Never once had pain in the head, okay? Always had a level of dysfunction in their spine. You solve the dysfunction, the pain goes away. You can live the rest of your life without pain. I want you to share our information. I want to change the world. I want you to comment. I want you to ask questions. Okay? When you ask questions, it gives us things to talk about, but they're good questions for sure. Because the question that came up is, why am I not getting better? I get that. Probably the most common question is, why am I not getting better? Because you're probably doing something wrong. Okay, figure out what you're doing wrong. Pain starts to get better. Avoid the activities that make you worse. If you'd like to come see us, call this number, 844-577-7329. And again, remember, too much flexion on the spine is going to make you worse. So that's it. Have a good night. Be careful. Be safe.